14 states. Meanwhile, rifts in the India alliance are widening day by day, especially in Jammu and Kashmir, as NC's Omar Abdullah openly targeted the PDP today. And reacting to Omar's assertions, Mehbooba Mufti said that she was hurt after NC's decision, as the party has done what BJP can't do by damaging the People's Alliance for Gupkar declaration. Omar also attacked the Congress party and other allies over the Parivarvad controversy, saying it has only boomeranged against the India bloc. The alliance's woes don't just end there. Kerala's Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan has attacked his alliance partner, the Congress party, for being a party of turncoats. Now, as the chief architect of India alliance, Nitish Kumar's ruthless exit had already dealt a cruel blow in more ways than one as far as the India bloc is concerned. So from Kashmir to Kerala, as the rifts deepen within India, is the infighting within the alliance becoming a larger threat to Congress than the BJP? And that brings us to the big question about the divisions in India bloc. Are tough wars derailing the anti-BJP mission?
BJP-യുടെ നിരയിലാണ്, BJP നേതൃനിരയിലാണ് 11 പേരാണ്.
अब परिवार पे हमने खुल्लम खुल्ला उनको गोल दे दिया और उन्होंने मौके का इस्तेमाल किया, कहा कि मोदी उनका है जिनका कोई नहीं, और हमारे पास इसका जवाब ही नहीं है। मैं शायद कभी इंडिया अलायंस में जाता ही नहीं। इंडिया अलायंस में जाने का हमारा एक ही मकसद था जो उसमें गए, कि हमारा मुकाबला बीजेपी और एनडीए के साथ।
इस चुनाव में भी सफाई होने वाली है।
And so from Kashmir to Kerala, exits and rifts have split India. But let's also break down all those states where India is struggling to strike alliances. Kerala, there's been no seat pact. Congress, led by UDF, is now versus CPM, led by LDF. In Kashmir, there's been no seat pact. TDP versus NC, and Congress is, of course, left out in the court. Bengal, there's again been no seat pact. It's in fact TMC versus Congress plus the left. Punjab, no seat pact again. Aam Aadmi Party has chosen to brave it out alone, and that is why the battle is now between Aam Aadmi Party and Congress over there. Uttar Pradesh, RLD has dumped India. Congress plus Samajwadi Party versus Super NDA is the game there. As far as Bihar is concerned, JDU has dumped India, and it's a Congress plus RJD versus a Super NDA. And with that, let me now open the debate to my guests, and let me introduce my esteemed panelists today. I'm joined in by Shahzad Poonawalla, who's the national spokesperson for the Bharatiya Janata Party, Ms. Mahima Singh, who's the spokesperson for the Congress, Professor Dinesh Varshney, who's the leader of CPI, also Professor Jyotsna Tirunagari, who's the spokesperson for TDP. Many thanks to you, esteemed panelists, for joining in. And before I dive into this debate, I'd actually make a very humble request to all of you to allow each other the time to speak and keep it a constructive debate. Let me begin with you, Ms. Mahima Singh. As we all know, the list has been out and everybody's been left wondering why the suspense over Amethi and Raebareli. As we all know, those seats are very dear to the Congress Parivar.
Jai Hind. I am quite intrigued at the kind of interest, with which the media looks at the India alliance. Because when you talk about the NDA and you talk about the newly being contemplated, the newly, explored reconciliations, I would say, with their left out and alliance partners that left them out, actually, I don't see the same keen interest. So, Raebareli and Amethi, as you rightly said, are very dear to the Congress, and the Congress is very dear to the voters of Raebareli and Amethi. So, the pondering will be also deeper on those Akanksha, and that is going on. And Congress party has a proper procedure and protocol, which is abided by before our lists come out. So you will see in the due course of time, today the first list has come out, and it is a poised attempt at fielding candidates that the people will really hook their hopes on. And I think in the due course of time, in the next couple of days, in fact, you will see that our lists, which will reflect the voice that the Congress stands for, the values that the Congress stands for, will be out as well. Unlike the BJP, where we saw the stumbling and fumbling of the candidates, some withdrawing, some the BJP leaving out. So the Congress list will be nothing like that. It will be a true, vision of the realization of the goals, the issues for the people of India.
All right, Shehzad, if I could bring you in on this, the statement that just been made by Mahima. A lot has been asked that why just Uttar Pradesh, why not talk about Rajasthan, why not talk about Bihar? Political pundits are questioning Congress's own confidence in the Hindi heartland at the moment.
First of all, we are least interested in what's going on within their alliance because we have a mission and vision. Our mission is to take the economy from 10th to 5th, 12 crore toilets, 12 crore nalkas, to ensure 25 crore people come out of poverty, 70 airports, double the rates of expressway and highways, take this country forward, whether it's foreign policy, and you've covered that extensively, or whether it's domestic or Rashtriya Suraksha. All of this is our agenda. But they have no mission vision. They have commission, corruption, confusion, ambition for position and dynastic profession. Let me explain. Ever since the Pran Pratishtha has taken place and you're seeing one after the other, even Moody's is giving the testimony for our economic development, you can see Jai Shri Ram becoming the slogan of the people of India, but here there is Ram Naam Satya Hai. First Bengal, Ram Naam Satya Hai was chanted. Mamta Didi said, you take 2 seats or else 40 mein simad jaoge. Then in Punjab, they said, Ek thi Congress. In Maharashtra, Sanjay Rao tells the Congress party, you're a zero party. Today in Kerala, we have seen what Pinarayi Vijayan has said. You have heard what Omar Abdullah has said, triple talaq for the alliance there. And apart from that, the reason is that they don't have anything that binds them together. For example, let me ask them what is common between Congress and left. They fight in Kerala. They call Pinarayi Vijayan dictator. They've called his daughter corrupt. And they are saying we will save democracy in Delhi with Pinarayi Vijayan's party. In Punjab, they call the Aam Aadmi Party dictatorial for arresting Khaira. In Delhi, they call Mr. Kejriwal corrupt. They used to say till yesterday that Sharab Ghotala inhone kiya hai. And today they are going to save democracy. And Mamata Banerjee's Bengal, they want Rashtrapati Shasan. And in Delhi, they are saying we will save the country for democracy by allying with Mamata Banerjee. So there's a lot of confusion. Just 10 seconds more. Look, the fundamental difference between the two sets of alliance and their templates is that we have a niti, we have a neta, we have netrutva, and our agenda is not parivarvad or it is not avsarvad. For instance, we are not thinking about Lalu's son Tejaswi Tejpratap, Mulayam's son Akhilesh, Sonia's son Rahul, or Supriya, who is the daughter of Sharad Pawar. We are thinking about the boys and girls of this country.
Right.
And therefore, we are working for
Shehzad,
the Aam Beta Beti who's our parivar.
I've given you time. Professor Varshney, if I could bring you in on what Chief Minister Vijayan said today. In fact, he's gone on to quote some shocking figures. He's talked about a report which states that from 2013 to March of 2023, over 500 Congress leaders have left the party. My question to you is, why be part of an alliance where there's such a severe trust deficit?
Look, Akansha, India is a country of unity and diversity. These contradictions will be there. And because these are state specific and this will happen, this is happening in NDA also. The NDA is not able to decide the seats in distribution.
But Professor Varshney, a very scathing attack. A scathing attack was launched by Chief Minister Vijayan. He's in fact gone on to talk about turncoats. He's saying that there's no guarantee that if Congress is voted to power, they'll all not defect over to the BJP. He's gone on to urge the people of Kerala to not cast their vote for the Congress party. What does that mean for your party being part of such an alliance?
Look, Akansha, in Kerala there is a traditional, always a fight between UDF and LDF. So what Comrade Pinarayi Vijayan is saying, he has said the reality as far as Kerala is concerned. But as far as India is concerned, the India alliance is sure, despite with the teething problem, despite with the contradiction will lead to the defeat of the NDA because people are fed up with the price rise, people are fed up with the unemployment, people are fed up with the corruption in the NDA. The corruption has led to that extent that the NDA government has returned to the CAG.
But to fight that corruption, Professor Varshney, to fight that corruption, you need to be a united front. If you're talking about corruption, if you're talking about inflation, if you're talking about unemployment, how do you do that when you're such a divided front?
Look, there is a divided front in the other alliance also, NDA also.
All
in
right.
Nagaland, both the alliance partners of the BJP are those who are not ready to accept the Indian flag. They were not ready to accept the Indian
All right, Shahzad, how divided is the NDA at the moment?
They have a different version in Meghalaya.
To give credit where it's due, of course, seat sharing becomes. Sir,
Shahzad, what Shahzad Poonawala is
Professor,
saying
may
is
I-
absolute demagogy. The CAG has pointed out the corruption in 5 of their
respond if he's
schemes.
going to keep interrupting?
All right,
including Ayushman
Professor
Bharat.
Varshney, you've said what you had to. Let's take a rebuttal from Shahzad at the moment. Shahzad,
Look,
please go ahead.
Of course, when parties come together, seat sharing and other things can become an issue. There's no doubt that there might be certain issues in our alliance also as far as the seat sharing is concerned. But the difference fundamentally is that on the one hand, sir, you talk about corruption. The Congress is called Beiman by Aam Aadmi Party in Punjab. The Congress calls you, Pinarayi Vijayan, corrupt. They have labelled allegations against your against Pinarayi Vijayan's daughter. Now, how can you do kushti in Kerala and dosti in Delhi? That is point number one. Point number two, this is called friendship with benefits. Friends with benefits model does not work. People are beyond the 90s politics. And last point, I'll tell you one example right on the screen. Sir, Varshney ji, should Rahul contest from Wayanad? And madam, please don't interrupt, sir, don't interrupt. Sir, don't interrupt. Let me complete my point.
Professor, please.
Let me complete my point, sir. The problem with you is your hastiness. You are a professor, I am a student, but you don't behave like one. No, 10 seconds. There are two specific questions. Sir, I am asking you whether Rahul should contest from Wayanad, and I am asking Mahima Singh ji that on Sandesh Khali even the left have raised their voice, but Kharge ji said ye choti moti ghatna hai. And Priyanka is silent. Now you all decide between yourselves and tell me the stand on Sandesh Khali and on Wayanad seat of Rahul. Decide between yourselves.
Let's have Mahima take that first. Mahima, please go ahead.
Akanksha, I was raising my hand earlier because
Yes,
I wanted
yes.
to ask the
But we
BJP
have other panelists
spokesperson.
also.
But I will not speak selectively. When the BJP spokesperson spoke of Parivarvad and he spoke of people like Tejasvi Yadav and others who have been on the ground for years spending their lives amongst the people, what credit does Basuri Swaraj has her political profile? She has been fielded to represent the people of Delhi, like Gautam Gambhir was fielded the last time as a celebrity, and now he is off reaching the trust of the people of Delhi. So the BJP, has futile, empty talks. We have a whole plan. You have been questioning what is India's plan, what is Congress's plan. We have been guaranteeing the people of this country social justice.
But how do
We
you
have promised that we will
orchestrate
fulfill
those guarantees?
We will fulfill the job guarantee. We will legislate. We will legislate. But you see, the questions that you all are asking here, the questions that the BJP spokesperson is projecting here are very futile and frivolous. Because when they field a Pawan Singh in Asansol, they forget the whole, Stri Asmita issue. But when it comes to Sandesh Khali, where the people have been, where the justice is taking its course, the procedure is taking its course, they have a problem. But when Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh evades the procedure for months,
All right.
set end.
Mahima, since you've accused us for raising questions, okay, Mahima, point taken. Since you've accused us of raising questions about how the India alliance is working out right now, their own internal infighting, I'm going to now. That's why I'm going to take my question from Professor Jyotsna at the moment, who's from TDP. Professor Jyotsna, everybody wants to know what explains this Ghar Wapsi for the TDP. You're still in talks as far as NDA is concerned, but what explains that Ghar Wapsi, especially after Mr. Naidu's acrimonious exit over the special category status?
See, there you go. Because our exit was issue-based. We don't have principle-based differences with BJP. Not at all. Because we have been a part of NDA in 98, in 2014, and we left in 2004, we left in 2014, only based on issue-based differences. And it is absolutely not principle-based differences with them.
So will you still be demanding the status from the centre? Will you still be demanding the status from the centre?
Let me put it clearly here. 10 years down the lane, the special category status for the state of Andhra Pradesh is that was in the 10-year Reenactment Act. It is not there now. So we have to write the act again. the division of the state of Andhra Pradesh, United Andhra Pradesh, we have to write the act again. Right? So first thing is the special category status or the special package that we have taken earlier when we were in power in 2014 till 2019. The best of which was what we were asking then also. And even now, if it is required, we will put forward that, demand also. And again, it's absolutely not related to some, I would say special category status or one thing aloof.
All right, Professor Jyotsna.
One second. When I say this, the present situation in the state of Andhra Pradesh is really bad. Really, really bad. There is a tyranny that's going on there. There is completely lawlessness in the state. Absolute lawlessness. Absolute financial indiscipline. So if we have to put state back into track, onto track, definitely we need to have a very strong government there. And that's for sure.
All right.
And we are trying for it.
May I now take that question from Shehzad? Shehzad, Andhra is a very peculiar state where we've seen the opposition and the ruling party both warm up to the BJP. Having said that, going by what Professor just said, is the BJP anticipating their expectations in terms of that special category status? And will the BJP be able to sort of appease them with that promise?
First of all, let me make it very clear that we have not taken or broken any of our alliances. Some people, for various reasons, have left us for their own reasons, and it is for them to decide what terms they want to come back on. It's not for us, first of all. Secondly, if we had 303 seats in 2019, we still gave respect to our allies. For instance, it was Nitish Kumar, when we won the election 2020, we still made him CM even though he was a smaller party. Eknath Shinde ji came back to the original mandate of Shiv Sena BJP. He's a smaller party, we still given respect. So we have given respect to all our allies, but let me put 2 points. Now, I am confused what is Congress's stand. She, madam, says that Sandesh Khali, the law is being followed. Adhir Ranjan ji says something else. And Khadge ji says that this is choti moti ghatna. So between their party also they are not ready to have one position. And if it is so, please tell me, madam, that today Sandesh Khali, whatever Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary has said, is it wrong? And you are saying law is following its own course. High Court has come down heavily saying that the police was not acting in a proper manner. And Brinda Karat is also wrong because you are saying law is following its course. But Brinda Karat is saying no, everything is unruly in West Bengal. So they also must decide that. And as far as Parivarvad is concerned, Mahima, I'll tell you an example. The example is that when your party, means RJD, Lalu ke baad Tejasvi as the president, Mulayam ke baad Akhilesh as the president, Stalin ke baad Udaynidhi is the president. Now, tomorrow if Akansha's sister or daughter wants to come to the channel, nobody can stop her daughter to come to the channel. But if Akansha says, after me, the debate will be conducted only by my daughter, that is Parivarvad, that is what is happening in your party, where president or prime minister posts reserved for one family. That's not the case in our party.
Point taken. Mahima, in fact, it's not just Shehzad or the BJP that's attacking the Parivarvad jive. It's come from Umar Abdullah also today. Something that, in fact, shook the opposition, to which even Mehmooda Mufti had to actually go on to say that, you know, what you have done is worse than what BJP could have done to us. Mahima, please go ahead.
When the TDP and BJP try to stitch and... Can you hear me?
Right, I can.
Can you hear me, Akanksha?
Yes, Mahima. Please go ahead.
Yeah. When the BJP and TDP try to stitch an alliance, Akanksha, I'm only wondering the state of mind of their workers, both the parties' workers, especially the BJP's workers, because we are hearing the stories of where the BJP's workers in Andhra Pradesh are totally disdained because they consider TDP as traitors there. But the BJP is trying to stitch alliance because they have a politics of convenience. And the kind of questions the BJP spokesperson asks, you know, are only so, especially in the light of the PM's, statement when he says कि मैं तो किसी भी ट्रेन में चढ़ जाता था और लेने के लिए लोगों का हाथ देखना शुरू कर देता था झूठ मूठ में. So you see, that is the mindset with which this party conducts itself in this country: derail, deviate. Deny the reality on the ground and actually, totally deviate the issues, the realities of this country.
All right.
Just one line.
So Shehzad, I will come to you. Yes, Mahima, you've made a point. We have to go forward in this debate. Professor Jyotsna, you heard what Mahima said. Yes. No, to add to what Mahima is saying, there's also another question to that when the BJP only has 1% vote share in the state of Andhra, why have you still chosen to go ahead with such a state and to take forward what Mahima was saying? When there's so much acrimony, what explains the talks at the moment?
See, definitely when she said there is acrimony, see, we are political parties, they are political parties. Sometimes there could be a small amount of dissent in the Karyakartas, not up to what the amount that she is expressing. So, expressing, first thing. Second thing is, your question, Akanksha. You said, how can they come back, or, 1% vote is...
So what is giving you the confidence is what I want to know.
See, it's not about the confidence, Akanksha. It's about... See, I'll tell you, I'll tell you one thing. We are trying to put together all the forces for the development of Andhra Pradesh. Simple, point blank. We are on it there. We are not worried about anything. We are worried about the state of Andhra Pradesh. We are worried about the long-term developmental plans for Andhra Pradesh. We are worried about the future of the youth of Andhra Pradesh. And that's the reason, if it is not for BJP, if it is not for any other party, we have in fact opened our arms for everybody and anybody who can be a part of this fight against the ruling bias RCP. We are very clear in our fight.
All right.
Because we want to end that tyranny at any cost. At any cost. We don't want to leave any stone unturned.
All right, you've said what you had to. Shahzad wants to counter something.
I am actually touched by Mahima's concern for the state of the mind of my political party workers, but I just want to consider what the Congressy must be feeling.
तुमसे जांच नहीं होती तो जांच करानी है, सोनिया गांधी को गिरफ्तार करो, 2 दिन उसका इंटेरोगेशन करो.
He wanted to send Sonia Gandhi to jail. He said, I swear on my children, I'll never touch you with a barge pole. And he demanded Bharat Ratna of Rajiv Gandhi to be taken back, Mahima. And they passed a resolution in the assembly. By the way, DMK was called murder of Rajiv Gandhi by the Congress party. By the way, West Bengal, you all have demanded Rashtrapati Shasan. By the way, you all labelled Uddhav Thackeray responsible for the demolition of Babri. And by the way, you all call Mr. Vijayan fascist every day. I wonder what is the state of mind of the Congress party leaders and workers. But then ultimately they follow Rahul Gandhi. So you can well imagine their state of mind.
All right. Mahima, would you like to come back to that? All right. I think Mahima has left the debate.
Akanksha, I would like to ask one.
No. Allow me to respond. I'm very much here. I'm very much here.
I'm glad that you are there. Thank you, Mahima. Please go ahead. Mahima, please go ahead. All right, we'll try and reconnect with Mahima's video at the moment, but let's also quickly go across to Professor Varshney, who's been very patiently awaiting his turn. Professor Varshney, what particularly caught me the attention today was how Chief Minister Vijayan also attacked Congress stalwarts and their children. He said that they've been nurtured to be gifted to the BJP, and of course, as we all know, he was referring to Padmaja Venugopal, also Mr. Antony, and the reality is for everyone to see. Right.
You see, what Comrade Pinarayi Vijayan has said today is not wrong. It is a fact. What
so are you saying that your party is aligned? Your party is aligned with someone who's gifting, children of their own stalwarts on a platter to the Bharatiya Janata Party?
You see, so I say now what Comrade Pinarayi Vijayan is saying is correct. But at the same time, I would like to ask one thing to the Shehzad Poonawala or BJP. What is Ajit Pawar? What is Hemant Virma Sharma? Or what is even Subhendu Adhikari? All of them were declared by BJP corrupt and they were demanding jail to them.
But Professor Varshney, you have again, Shehzad will come back, but you have again digressed from the question.
Now they are with them. They are taking
you have No, but you are digressing from the question I am asking. Do I not deserve to have an answer to the question?
Your question I have answered. What Comrade Pinarayi Vijayan you are saying is correct. I am not denying this thing. But at the same time,
to which I had a counter question.
What is Hemant Viswa Sharma? What is the Chief Minister of Manipur present? What is Ajit Pawar? What were they doing, and what was BJP was demanding their arrest, sending them to jail. Now they are their chief minister, deputy chief ministers. So they are also a part of the most corrupt government of the country since independence.
All right, Shehzad, would you like to respond to that? And I want to quickly go back to Mahima. Is Mahima back with us?
May I just respond quickly?
Please, go ahead.
By the way, Mr. Pinarayi Vijayan has said that the Congress party is not even a secular party. That's what he said. So if you agree with whatever the comrade has said, then you have to agree with them. And then what basis are you doing this alliance on? But by the way, sir, let me answer this very categorically. You make allegation, I make allegation, forget that. Lalu Prasad is convicted 5 times as corrupt. Pawan Modi is convicted as corrupt. There's no if and but in this. You say one is corrupt, I say somebody is corrupt. Forget that. Lalu is convicted corrupt. You are with a convicted man and you're talking about corruption.
अरे तुमने washing
अरे भाई
machine
साहब,
लगा
no sir,
रखी है,
don't
जो
start
तुम्हारे
screaming,
को
sir.
join
Sir,
करता
please
है,
don't,
washing
sir,
machine
my
से साफ हो
ears,
जाता है।
sir, please don't,
Who
sir,
said that
have
to
mercy
join
on
BJP
me.
is gone through a
Professor
washing
Vashle,
machine of
I would
BJP.
appreciate if you do
You
not
are
speak
Keep
laundering.
it decorum, sir. You're a professor. At
Please,
least behave
please
and
maintain.
behave like
Laundering.
one.
You
Sir,
dry killing them.
Sir, can I
No,
please?
no, don't lie, don't
But
lie.
sir, let
don't
me
lie.
speak in my turn. That's the courteous thing to
Professor
do.
does not mean that a student lies.
But
Professor
no,
Vashle, Professor Vashle, I urge you to please let
Professor
Shehzad
cannot allow
finish.
you to lie a student.
May I
All right.
please
Yes, I will
continue?
come back to you to finish what you have to say. Shehzad, you have another 30 seconds. Please wrap up. What you
My
have to say.
limited point is that, look, what are they trying to attempt here? They're trying to bring back people whom they've had enmity with. They say Modi versus Mudda is the issue, that Modi is going to go because the Muddas are so strong. Then why are they doing alliances with their Jani Dushman? NCPDP Jani Dushman, Congress Aap Jani Dushman, Sapa Congress Jani Dushman, Maharashtra में उद्धव सेना कांग्रेस जानी दुश्मन, केरला में कांग्रेस लेफ्ट जानी दुश्मन. अरे भाई, मोदी को मुद्दे से हराना है तो जानी दुश्मन के साथ क्यों आना है? आप बता दीजिए. ये अवसरवाद है. This is nothing but मौका परस्ती. And Professor Saab, with due respect, what Vijayan ji has said, if you agree with that, then you should not touch the Congress for Bajpur. Sir, you're screaming so much, you're coughing. Have some water, control your BP, and tell me that if Vijayan is right, why are you going with a communist party in an alliance? Why are you going with a party that is a party of turncoats? How can you say that they are turncoats and then go with them in an alliance? ये क्या है? People are watching you.
We have to form a... No.
All right, Professor, please
We
go
have
ahead.
to form a democratic and progressive alliance to defeat the fascist forces. And BJP is fascist and communal.
Is TMC fascist or proper? TMC is fascist or proper? Please tell me. And they are in India.
We are fighting against TMC.
But they are in India and you're fighting fascism with them. ये गजब का alliance है भाई. In Punjab, AAP is fascist, but Delhi में we will take them together. In Kerala, left is fascist, we will take them together. In Bengal, TMC is fascist, but we will take them together. What is this? What fascism are you fighting when you're calling them fascist and allying with them?
अकाली के साथ थे, अब नहीं हो. मेघालय का चीफ मिनिस्टर इलेक्शन से 2 दिन पहले दुश्मन था, तुम गवर्नमेंट में चले गए लड्डू खाने.
सर, आप पानी पी लीजिए, आप ध्यान से सोचिए क्या बोल रहे हैं.
लड्डू खाने सरकार में आ गए.
But Professor, you know, as far as Jammu and Kashmir is concerned, they've completely been shaken today. The waves, we've seen reactions come in from PDP and, of course, the National Conference as well. We've already seen how disturbed they are. So, I think it's the infighting that is plaguing the Gupkar alliance more than the BJP. I think all of India alliance at the moment, don't you think, is creating a Frankenstein of BJP more than addressing the infighting that's happening within their own bloc? Professor Vashle. All right.
Can you repeat your question?
May I just have one line before you can add? Look, Vashle ji, you said we have to fight fascism of the BJP, right? This is Congress's opposition leader. Kerala's CM is a coward and a psychopath. You are saying you need their help to fight fascism. So you are agreeing that you are a coward and a psychopath. This is their statement published in the Deccan Herald. I can produce 10 more copies of it. Sudhakaran called that to Vijayan. Mr. Venugopal has called that to Vijayan. Do you agree that Mr. Pinarayi Vijayan, I would never use these words, is a coward, psychopath and a dictator? Yes or no?
Let them say. So let the Congress...
All right. I sincerely request you. All right. Professor Vashle, you've said what you've had to. Please have a glass of water. In the meanwhile, I'll also quickly go across to Mahima. Mahima, the question that we were posing to Professor Vashle and I'd like to now take with you is the attack by Pinarayi Vijayan. Today, he's in fact gone on to say that Congress stalwarts and their children are being nurtured only to be given to the BJP. Of course, as we all know, he was referring to Mr. Antony and also Padmaja Venugopal. How do you respond to such an attack, that too coming in from your ally partner?
Akanksha, I think one has to understand that
how grave must be the intensity of the situation, the gravity of the situation that the country has been put in by the BJP is so much that in spite of our individual differences, we are convinced that we need to come together to safeguard our constitutional principles. So, you see, that only shows in a federal structure like India's, where there are different geopolitical issues, different demographic issues, if parties with different ideologies, yet the common ambition of standing guard to the democracy are coming together, I think it is self-explanatory of the whole situation that the BJP has put the country in. And however, I was,
are you saying, no, I have a counter question to that people from your own party are losing faith in your party, in the Congress High Command only because of the situation that BJP has created?
I would say Jayant Sinha, Gautam Gambhir, the Mehsana leader, Dr. Harshvardhan, and the others are losing faith in the BJP's politics. Nitin Patel from Mehsana, and others. Pawan Kumar in Asansol was fielded by them. So, who later on said that I will not be able to contest. However, it was the BJP's foot-in-mouth situation. So, there are leaders that are resigning from the BJP style of politics. Only it is not being highlighted as much as you are busy highlighting what is going on in the India alliance. We shall resolve our differences at the end of the day, because our commitment is to the very structure, to the very character of this country, which is democracy, which relies on the constitutional values. And the BJP is only standing guard to the narcissism of one person. And it is only all about Modi ki guarantee. We are talking about Pehli Naukri Pakki to every youth. We are talking about MSP guarantee. We are talking about right to apprenticeship. But what the BJP is talking about is just one person's fancies, whims and fancies.
No, then I'll take a cue from what the Congress is talking about. I'll refer to the candidate list that was released. We saw a very deliberate focus on southern states. And that's how I want to ask you, Shehzad, whether it is Kerala, whether it is Karnataka, or even Tamil Nadu. Today, political pundits are saying that there's been a strategic silence maintained over northern heartland as far as the candidate list of Congress was concerned, only because they know that you're on a sticky wicket in southern India.
That claim actually doesn't bear out itself, because we have the largest number of MPs from the south, by the way. We have 30 MPs, Congress is 28. So we have more MPs than them. We have a government in Puducherry. We had a government till recently in Karnataka. And we have pan-South India presence. Tamil Nadu, we have presence in Kerala. We have more vote share than IUML, by the way. We have presence in Telangana, where we are rising very rapidly. And we have a presence in Andhra as well. So we have a pan-South India presence, which even DMK or other parties don't have. Point number one. Point number two, please tell me, madam, you talked about job guarantee, etc. In Himachal Pradesh, by the way, you all made a lot of promises. But one promise made was that 1 lakh sarkari jobs, Priyanka promised. After that, Sukhuji comes to power and he says, we can't give these jobs. There are not enough people in Himachal that we can give so many sarkari jobs. We will give rozgar, not jobs. Secondly, what happened to your promises in Karnataka? Today, you are running the stories in Bengaluru. Instead of giving water connections, they are not even able to provide water. What happened to the free electricity there? They increased the electricity prices. They increased 6 rupees of diesel in Himachal Pradesh. Leave that aside. Now coming back to the main issue, that look, you are saying we are going to save fascism. Mahima ji, with all due respect, and I am very fond of you as a political panelist, please tell me, Khera's arrest was called dictatorial by Khadge ji. Khera was arrested by whom? Aam Aadmi Party, Punjab. In Bengal, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary said that the attack in Sandesh Khali on ED officials, now Rashtrapati Shasan should come. Who said this? Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary. And in Kerala, Sudhakaran, when he was arrested, leader of opposition, at that time you have said, the Congress has said, that this man Vijayan is a coward and a psychopath. You are saying you are going to say fascism with them.
Mahima, how does one explain that doublespeak?
Please allow me to respond. You see, when the BJP spokesperson talks of Karnataka and Himachal, Akanksha, I actually feel very concerned as well as it sounds very laughable, because Himachal saw the worst floods last year, and the very party sitting at the center, Mr. Spokesperson's party, did not, give it the status of a national disaster, refused to recognize Himachal's situation as a national disaster. Likewise, Karnataka
has been hit by the worst droughts. Karnataka was protesting on the streets of Delhi very recently, and it was the whole government of Karnataka protesting there because this center denied national disaster status to those droughts, has denied the tax share of Karnataka as a state, the rightful share. And today he's talking about Karnataka and Himachal. We have only been there in government for so many, for just under 2 years. And we are doing our work. Guarantees are being delivered. The people of those states very well know, unlike the BJP that promised 2 crore jobs a year. Mr. Modi's statements are on record. 2 crore jobs a year to the youth of this country. Nowhere to be seen. In fact, nowhere close. 10 lakh vacancies are there in the center. 15 lakhs in every account were promised to be brought back in the form of the black money. Nowhere. Demonetization was done to eradicate black money, and then those 2,000 rupees notes have also been discontinued. So this is a very confused government that pitches very convenient alliances that lies on the face of the people. And the Prime Minister says that he used to secure seats on the trains by fooling people looking at their palms.
All right. Shahzad, I want you to respond to what Mahima said before I quickly go to Professor Varshney for my next question.
As far as Himachal is concerned, forget convincing the people, convince your state president Pratibha Singh. She has gone on record just 2-3 days ago and said that BJP is doing a good job. It is our chief minister who is not paying attention to the Sangathan. On record statement. You know what Vikramaditya did on a press conference. Forget that. I asked you a specific question. Priyanka Vadra said 1 lakh jobs in the first cabinet meeting. It's been more than a year and a half you're in power in Himachal. No answer. Sukuji changes the goalpost. But since you asked me about the 2 crore employment, may I just answer that because they keep asking this all the time. Please note this, Mahima. EPFO data, 11 crore when you left. Today it's 27 crores, 16 crores. And this is where employers pay. It can't be something that's made up in the air. 16 crores there. LFPR, labor force participation rate, 2014, you left it at 45%. Today it's 58%. Worker population ratio, you left it at 36, it's at 56. Unemployment rate as per the NSO data is 3.1. Today, 11 kilometers highway is now 37 kilometers highway. 70 airports are 144 airports. 5 metros are 20 metros. 3.5 crore houses have been built. Who's building that? People from Italy? No. CMI data, please take note. In Madhya Pradesh, unemployment was 2% where we returned to par. It was 20% in Rajasthan. You did not return to par. 44 crore mudra loans. If you consider 4 loans for 1 job, you will get about 25%. You can calculate the 11 crore jobs from there. So these are the data, hardcore data. Now you talk about 1 lakh jobs. Now you talk about 1 lakh jobs. I have given you hardcore data.
Akanksha.
Mahima, can I come back to you before let me take a question from Professor Varshney as well. He's been very patiently awaiting his turn and I will come back to you. That's my promise. Professor Varshney, I want to ask you, today Pinarayi Vijayan has in fact gone on to say that let's use the Lok Sabha polls to not just defeat the BJP but all those opportunists who are waiting to join the Saffron Party. I want to know from you, who are these opportunists that he's referring to? And are you allying with those opportunists?
No, even BJP is opportunist.
He said opportunists waiting to join the Saffron Party. And then he's quoted a figure of 500 Congress politicians who in fact are turncoats in the last 10 years.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I'm not denying it. But what happened to the BJP leaders in Karnataka? They are joining Congress. So whosoever is in power, the vested interests go there. These vested interests should go away from the politics. I appeal to all these political parties that all these vested interests, be it any party, must go away from politics.
All right.
They are the
Mahima,
they are their vested interests harm the people.
Calling your party a party of turncoats and you latching on to the explanation that he's saying so because the BJP has created such a situation, is that reason enough?
Please repeat your question. Reason enough for what?
Mr. Vijayan has, already attacked the Congress party for being a party of turncoats. And in fact, just a while ago, you said that, the BJP has created such an atmosphere where such things are taking place. Is that reason enough to justify the kind of defections that are happening from your party?
Defections are happening, due to various factors, Akanksha, and I think very well is known to everybody. The kind of dirty politics the BJP is putting our country through.
But before, when I was raising my hand, I was saying all the regurgitation of data by the BJP spokesperson is all right. But let me just say that, today the fact remains that 64%.
That all right was more of a reiteration for him to have finished.
Indirect. Let me also give some counterbalance. Let me counterbalance his data.
Sure, go ahead.
64% of the total indirect GST collection comes from the 50% of the poorest population of this country, Akanksha, whereas the top 10% rich people contribute only 4% to that indirect GST collection. And apart from that, you see, Manish Tiwari gave a brilliant speech on the floor of the parliament when he was countering the budget speech by the finance minister, and it has all the data. I will not, for the brevity of time here, I will not be putting all that data out here, but it is very, very much out there. Be it the fiscal deficit, be it the revenue deficit, be it the savings to GDP ratio, the BJP, the UPA compared to NDA performed far, far better, and it is out for everybody to see. But they come here, they regurgitate all the data. When asked questions about 2 crore jobs, they will give you indirect, jalebi ki tarah ghuma ke jawab de sakte hain. But it does not answer the plight of, crores of youth in this country today that are out on the streets asking for their rights.
All right.
It was us who gave right to food, right to education, right to information, engineering, and it is us who will give the right to employment to the people to the youth of this country.
You've made
right to MSP to the farmers of this country.
All right, Shahzad. You have
look,
another 20 seconds before
I would be inclined to take the Congress seriously if their leader knew that MRP stands for maximum retail price, not minimum retail price, and that petrol, diesel doesn't come in GST. Rahul Gandhi has no GAN, so I don't want to take any Congress seriously. Having said that, I have given my side of the data. She is unable to provide 1 lakh jobs in Himachal, even though it's so many months and years. Anyways, this is a statement. Congress's greed and lust for power led to Madam, I did not interrupt you. Mahima, I did not. It's a 1 versus 2 panel. It's a 1 versus 2 panel. I have not interrupted you. Let's be okay.
I'm giving you 10 seconds.
Mahima likes Urdu couplets, so let me quote one. Ta umra Mahima yahi galti karti rahi, धूल चेहरे पर थी, Mahima आईना साफ करती रही. The people are delivering verdicts after verdicts. Are you saying the people are also fools? In Madhya Pradesh, our government was repeated. Your governments were lost out in 5 years in Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh. Is that not enough of an indication? And here is Mr. Vijayan calling you greedy and lusty for power.
Allow me 5 seconds, Akanksha.
I'm in fact a minute over at the moment.
5 seconds.
Mahima, I've given you a lot of time to make those points.
5 seconds. One couplet for
all right, go ahead. Go ahead. Otherwise, you will accuse me of being a BJP spokesperson.
No, I won't anyway accuse you, but मैं तो भोला भाला वसीम और वो फनकार सियासत का उसके जब घटने की बारी आई मुझको जोड़ लिया. That is the tale of TDP and all the others, JDU and BJD and all the others.
I can't thank you enough for ending my discussion on such a lyrical note. What a happy note to end on. Absolutely. Many thanks to you, Mahima, Professor Varshney and Shahzad for joining in on this very interesting discussion. It was a pleasure to have you all on the show. And up next is a deep dive on the nuclear saber rattling by Putin's regime amid the war with Ukraine as NATO and the US Congress remain divided over delivering more aid to Kiev. Zaka Jacob decodes that and more, but after a quick break.
Presented by बहुत सारे हमारे नागरिक जिनको रशिया भेजा गया यहाँ से झूठ बोलकर अलग अलग बातें बोलकर उनको धोखाधड़ी जो उनके साथ हुआ, ये मसला हम लोग रशियन सरकार के साथ वहाँ के अथॉरिटीज़ के साथ बहुत कस के पूरे दबाव के साथ हम लोगों ने लिया है ताकि हमारे नागरिक जो वहाँ फंसे हुए हैं वो अब वापस आ सके.
2 Indian nationals have been killed in Russia fighting a war in Russian army. Earlier this week, the Indian embassy in Moscow confirmed the death of Indian national Mohammad Asfan, the 30-year-old who travelled from Hyderabad to Russia. Prior to this case, 23-year-old Hemal Ashwin Bhai, a resident of Surat in Gujarat, was killed in Ukrainian airstrike while serving as a helper in Russian army. As per the FIR lodged by CBI against human trafficking racket duping people and sending them to Russia, till now the agents have sent 170 students on student visa to Russia. But Ministry of External Affairs still maintains there are 20 cases in total which have come to their knowledge, and ministry has strongly taken up the matter with the Russian government for early discharge of Indian nationals. Two Russia-based agents who are allegedly involved in the human trafficking network that sends Indian nationals into the Ukraine war zone are currently under the scanner of Central Bureau of Investigation. These agents are based in Russia and were facilitating the trafficking of Indian youth to Russia by offering them lucrative job opportunities. They allegedly confiscate the passports of Indians arriving and force them to fight with the armed forces. The agency in fact conducted searches at 13 locations in Delhi, Thiruvananthapuram, Mumbai, Ambala, Chandigarh, Madurai and Chennai. Agency has also identified at least 35 instances of victims sent abroad by the alleged traffickers. MEA spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal said in a statement, and I quote, "We have taken up the matter with the Russian government for early discharge of such Indian nationals. Strong action has already been initiated against agents and unscrupulous elements who recruited them on false pretexts and promises. We once again appeal to Indian nationals not to be swayed by offers made by agents for support jobs with the Russian army. This is a fraught with danger and risk to life," unquote. Ministry also said they are in touch with families of two deceased and attempts are being made to bring back the mortal remains of these two, those who have died fighting for Russian army. Few days back, this news came to light that other than the existing cases, there is another batch of 6 men from Punjab and Haryana, those who have also been forced to work in Russian army. This incident came to light when they made their video and sent it to their families, and those videos got viral on social media platforms. These families have also reached out to the government so that these men can also be discharged before they are sent to the frontline areas to fight against the Ukrainian forces. CBI is also doing a crackdown against such rackets existing who are duping youth through social media platforms like YouTube for a lucrative, high salary jobs in Russia and make fake promises.
बहुत सारे हमारे नागरिक जिनको रशिया भेजा गया यहाँ से झूठ बोलकर, अलग अलग बातें बोलकर उनको धोखाधड़ी जो उनके साथ हुआ, ये मसला हम लोग रशियन सरकार के साथ, वहाँ के अथॉरिटीज़ के साथ बहुत कस के पूरे दबाव के साथ हम लोगों ने लिया है ताकि हमारे नागरिक जो वहाँ फंसे हुए हैं वो अब वापस आ सके।
Two Indian nationals have been killed in Russia fighting a war in Russian army. Earlier this week, the Indian embassy in Moscow confirmed the death of Indian national Mohammad Asfan, the 30-year-old who traveled from Hyderabad to Russia. Prior to this case, 23-year-old Hemal Ashwin Bhai, a resident of Surat in Gujarat, was killed in Ukrainian airstrike while serving as a helper in Russian army. As per the FIR lodged by CBI against human trafficking racket duping people and sending them to Russia, till now the agents have sent 170 students on student visa to Russia. But Ministry of External Affairs still maintains there are 20 cases in total which have come to their knowledge, and ministry has strongly taken up the matter with the Russian government for early discharge of Indian nationals. Two Russia-based agents who are allegedly involved in the human trafficking network that sends Indian nationals into the Ukraine war zone are currently under the scanner of Central Bureau of Investigation. These agents are based in Russia and were facilitating the trafficking of Indian youth to Russia by offering them lucrative job opportunities. They allegedly confiscate the passports of Indians arriving and force them to fight with the armed forces. The agency in fact conducted searches at 13 locations in Delhi, Thiruvananthapuram, Mumbai, Ambala, Chandigarh, Madurai and Chennai. Agency has also identified at least 35 instances of victims sent abroad by the alleged traffickers. MEA spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal said in a statement, and I quote, "We have taken up the matter with the Russian government for early discharge of such Indian nationals. Strong action has already been initiated against agents and unscrupulous elements who recruited them on false pretexts and promises. We once again appeal to Indian nationals not to be swayed by offers made by agents for support jobs with the Russian army. This is a fraught with danger and risk to life." Unquote. Ministry also said they are in touch with families of 2 deceased and attempts are being made to bring back the mortal remains of these 2, those who have died fighting for Russian army. Few days back, this news came to light that other than the existing cases, there is another batch of 6 men from Punjab and Haryana, those who have also been forced to work in Russian army. This incident came to light when they made their video and sent it to their families, and those videos got viral on social media platforms. These families have also reached out to the government so that these men can also be discharged before they are sent to the frontline areas to fight against the Ukrainian forces. CBI is also doing a crackdown against such rackets existing who are duping youth through social media platforms like YouTube for a lucrative, high-salary jobs in Russia and make fake promises.
बहुत सारे हमारे नागरिक
President Vladimir Putin has threatened to use Russia's nuclear arsenal in case Europe thinks of sending in troops into Ukraine.
Заговорили о возможности отправки на Украину натовских военных контингентов. Но мы помним судьбу тех, кто направлял когда-то свои контингенты на территорию нашей страны. Но теперь последствия для возможных интервентов будут гораздо более трагичны. У нас тоже есть оружие, да знают об этом, сейчас только я сказал, тоже есть оружие, которое может поражать цели на их территории. И что все они придумывают сейчас, чем пугают весь мир, что все это реально грозит конфликтом с использованием ядерного оружия, а значит уничтожением цивилизации. А ничего этого не понимают, что ли?
This is not the first time that he's rattled a nuclear saber. He has done so 3 times in the past 2 years since this war began. Once at the outset of the war against Ukraine 2 years ago, once when he was losing ground in October 2022, and once again last week as he senses that battlefield victory might be near. On Crux Decode, what is the purpose of all this nuclear saber rattling? Is there a method to Putin's provocative comments? Or does it simply achieve his objective of showing up the West and stopping them from some major intervention in the war in Ukraine? The nuclear saber rattling has almost always served the same basic purpose. Putin knows that the one thing his opponents fear the most is this, the escalation of the conflict. Even bluster about going nuclear serves as a reminder to Putin's enemies about the dangers of pushing him too far. But his equivalent of what was a State of the Union speech that happened last week also contained some distinct new elements. He not only signaled that he was doubling down on the war in Ukraine, he also made it clear that he had no intention whatsoever of renegotiating the last major arms control treaty with the United States. That treaty is also known as START, or the Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty. It runs out in less than 2 years by 2026. Now, some would call this a nuclear chess game, others nuclear blackmail. Implicit in Vladimir Putin's insistence that nuclear controls be gone and the continued existence of the Ukrainian state, those two issues are not separate, they must be discussed together. This is in keeping with the hypotheses that the Russian leader would be happy to see all the current limits on nuclear weapons to expire. What that would do is, it would free him and Russia to deploy as many nuclear weapons as Putin wants. While Putin said that he had no interest in pursuing another arms race, which of course, if you remember, the first arms race really drove the Soviet Union bankrupt, the implication of his statement is that the United States and Russia could possibly return to the worst days of the Cold War if that agreement is not renewed. Putin also underscored one of the distinctive and most unsettling aspects of this war in Ukraine. Time and again, Russia's senior military officials have discussed the deployment of nuclear weapons as the logical next step if, conventionally, they are not able to defeat Ukraine on the battlefield, or consequently, if they need to scare off a major Western intervention. That strategy is consistent with the Russian military doctrine as well. In the early days of the war in Ukraine, it clearly spooked the Biden administration. They hesitated in providing long-range missiles, tanks, and fighter jets to Ukraine. The fear in the White House that this would provoke a nuclear response, or at least even lead Russia to strike beyond the borders of Ukraine into proper NATO territory, that stopped the White House from delivering these high-tech weaponry to Ukraine. But whenever the Russian leader invokes his nuclear powers, it always touches off a wave of fear that if he's pushed too far, he might actually seek to demonstrate Russia's willingness to set off a weapon. Now, this is just to get his adversaries to back off, even if it is tested, let's say, in a remote location. So in this environment, Putin might once again engage in nuclear saber rattling, and it would be foolish to dismiss the escalatory risks therein entirely. This is what William Burns, who's the current CIA director and a former US ambassador to Russia, wrote in an article last month. But Putin's comments have got a more immediate provocation as well. Last week, French President Emmanuel Macron said that Europe should not rule out the possibility of sending European soldiers into Ukraine to fight the war there.
Il n'y a pas de consensus aujourd'hui pour envoyer de manière officielle, assumée et endossée des troupes au sol, mais en dynamique, rien ne doit être exclu. Nous ferons tout ce qu'il faut pour que la Russie ne puisse pas gagner cette guerre.
For an embattled leader who longs for Europe to return its glorious military days of the past, this was a typical Macron statement. After all, in 2019, he had described NATO as suffering from brain damage. Last year, he warned Europe against becoming America's strategic vassal. But Macron's latest comments may have done more to illustrate divisions within the Western Bloc and the limits of how far NATO allies are willing to go to defend Ukraine. Macron's comments were immediately dismissed by the United States, Germany, and other NATO allies, exposing a deep division in NATO on the question of sending troops into Ukraine. And this is perhaps why Putin sensed that this was the perfect time to test the depth of the Western alliance. Former President of the United States, Donald Trump, he had recently declared that Russia could do whatever the hell they want. That resonated deeply across Europe, including at the Munich Security Conference last month.
The Secretary General Stoltenberg, well, I don't know if he is anymore, but he was my biggest fan. He said, all these presidents came in, they'd make a speech, they'd leave, and that was it. And they all owed money, and they wouldn't pay it. I came in, I made a speech, and I said, you got to pay up. They asked me that question. One of the presidents of a big country stood up and said, well, sir, if we don't pay and we're attacked by Russia, will you protect us? I said, you didn't pay? You're delinquent? He said, yes, let's say that happened. No, I would not protect you. In fact, I would encourage them to do whatever the hell they want. You got to pay. You got to pay your bills. And the money came flowing in.
And so has the fact that the US Congress so far not ratified a $60 billion aid package to Ukraine. Republicans in the House of Representatives have held up that bill, reportedly upon instructions from Donald Trump. The Russian leader may have also been responding to speculation that the United States, concerned that Ukraine is on a path towards losing, may provide longer-range missiles to Kyiv. Alternatively, America could also end the long-frozen $300 billion in Russian assets, which are now sitting with Western banks, and then decide to hand that over to Ukraine to purchase more weapons. So Putin's message was very clear. He regards victory in Ukraine as almost an existential struggle. It is central to his grander plan of restoring the glory of the old Russian Empire as it was in the days of Peter the Great. And once a fight is framed as a war of survival and not a war of choice, then the leap from conventional weapons to nuclear is indeed a small one. And it's that leap which Putin has threatened to make ever so often since the start of this war.
जिनको रशिया भेजा गया यहाँ से झूठ बोलकर, अलग अलग बातें बोलकर उनको
Hello, Namaskar. This is First Post and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma. Tonight we lead with India's border standoff with China. Both sides are far from a truce. Latest reports, in fact, indicate that India is sending another 10,000 troops to the China front. Beijing has issued a warning. It says more troops will not ease tensions. We'll tell you how China is trying to twist the narrative here as its problems with China, in fact, continue. India is also engaging with the Taliban. A top Indian diplomat has met with the Taliban's foreign minister. We'll tell you what signals New Delhi is trying to send here. In the US, a combative Joe Biden took on Donald Trump and the Republicans in the State of the Union address. India wants the IMF to watch where its bailout to Pakistan is going. How a weight loss drug, a drug manufacturer, has now become richer than Tesla. And on International Women's Day, we'll tell you why womenomics is the only way forward. We begin with the headlines as always. In India, big setback to the Congress party ahead of the general election. Income Tax Tribunal dismisses the party's plea to stop action against its bank accounts. In February, Congress's bank accounts were frozen. The opposition party had alleged that the move was politically motivated. Haiti extends its state of emergency and nighttime curfew. Gang violence has paralyzed the capital. The attacks began a week ago. The Prime Minister is in Puerto Rico. These armed groups have prevented him from returning to his country.